guys, welcome again to my YouTube channel. I'm Francesco Morabito and today we will speak about Patagonia, Argentina. It wasn't just a trip for me because I lived there in 2017 for 4 months, so I can tell you something interesting about it. I will divide this video in 3 parts. In the first part I will speak about Neuquén, the city where I was living, not because Neuquén is an interesting city, but because living there I was able to get in touch with the culture and ways of life of Argentinians, so I can explain you and tell you some particular things like what is il mate, asado, how they live, football and so on. In the second part I will show you some city in the Cordillera de los Andes, more or less in the middle of Argentina. In the last part I will show you the trip that I did at the end of my experience, so starting from Neuquén and going farther and farther down to Ushuaia, the end of the world, el fin del mundo, and believe me guys, you will see really some extraordinary things. So are you ready for it?
Everybody put your hands in the air!
Well, for to start, 3 little things. First one, how I said I was there in 2017, so YouTube wasn't at all in my head, so I just did some photos and video for myself, so especially you will see a lot of photos, but believe me guys, they are really amazing. Second, some of my Italian friends are wondering probably why I'm speaking in English, because I'm living in Warsaw now. I want that also my friends here can understand it. I apologize if my pronunciation is not perfect, if I will make some mistake, but I'm sure that you will understand it because you are smart. However, you can activate the subtitle option somewhere here, which will make everything easier. 3. Subscribe to my YouTube channel right now and share the video. I will give you 3 seconds. Okay, let's start. I live in Neuquén from March to June, and the first thing that I want to tell you is that you have to be aware that we, like Europe, are in northern hemisphere, Argentina in the southern hemisphere. It means that the seasons are reversed. So I was there in autumn and the beginning of the winter, so keep it in mind when you will see this photo. Well, what about Neuquén? It is the largest city in the Patagonia region, but to be honest it's not so beautiful, it's nothing special. In the center of the city you can see the monument dedicated to San Martin, the general who brought the independence. Then in the city you will find some monuments in honor of Italy. In Argentina really many people have relatives of Italian origin and they really love us. They always told me, the Italians come here and made great our country. Not like this, but in Spanish, but this is what they say. Unfortunately, there are many abandoned dogs and someone luckier. Well, Neuquén is quite expensive because a lot of people here work in the oil sector. In fact, there are many lakes and oil fields around the city. But for the same reason, it's also a perfect place who love paleontology and dinosaurs. There are actually several museums with many exhibits in neighboring towns such as El Chocón, Barriales, Picún-Leufú, and the director of one of these museums is one of my best friends there, it's called Cynthia.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Cintia, soy de Neuquén, Argentina. Trabajo en Proyecto Dino, que es un parque geopaleontológico. Nosotros realizamos actividades de aproximadamente 2 horas y media, en el cual nosotros les vamos a enseñar cómo se extrae un fósil de las excavaciones, cómo se preparan en el laboratorio para luego ser llevados al museo. Así que bueno, están más que invitados. Muchas gracias.
So why I was there? I lived there because I studied there. I did part of my master's thesis, Universidad Nacional del Comahue. After I graduated in industrial chemistry. I was doing some boring things like try to synthesize some bio-nanomaterials to clean water for pollutants. And more funny things like trying to make coffee in some strange ways. And I was trying to make coffee like this not just because it was funny, okay it was, but not for this, because it was the only way to have a good coffee, because at the university you can find some coffee machine but just hot water dispenser. Why? Because they don't drink coffee, they drink mate. In fact, mate is a stimulating drink that contains caffeine like coffee. And I'm sorry that I'm not in home in Italy now, because otherwise I will show you how to prepare it, but I pretend to do it. So practically you have a container, normally made of pumpkin, calabaza, or it can be made of wood or metal, okay? In which you put this herb called yerba mate inside. Then you put hot water directly inside it. Important is that water has to be around 80 degrees, not more, because otherwise the grass will be burned, la hierba se quema. And then you drink it with a metal straw called bombilla, so you put it inside and it's very bitter, you have to get to use it. Someone put sugar inside, but it's better without. I think the real one is without. At the beginning I didn't like it, to be honest, but with the time I started to drink it instead of coffee, because when you practice it, it's not bad. Also because they drink it in a really good and funny way. You are all together with a lot of people, you are in a circle, and there is a cebador. Who is the cebador? Is this one that have the thermos. So how does it work? He has the thermos and he pours the water in mate and he give the mate to someone. He drink, give again the mate to the cebador put again other water, give to the other one. Then put hot water and give to the other, to the other, to the other. Everyone drinks from the same straw, and you can say no because it's bad, it's rude. So you have to drink everyone from the same, and you say thank you just when you don't want it more. Okay, we talk about mate, and now we have to talk about the other famous things in Argentina. Asado. What is asado? What is asado? Okay, with asado they mean both the technique with which to cook the meat and the meat in general. In asado there are several pieces of meat from different animals, normally beef, lamb and goats, and they can cook this meat in two ways, or on a grill on the flames called parrilla, or with an asador. Asador are poles in the shape of a cross. Guys, I'm not a fan of meat. I don't like it, and from some months I'm trying to don't eat at all for several reasons. But the meat that they have is really another level. It's really different. It's completely different, trust me. Also, when you go to McDonald's, for example, in some fast food, the meat that they have, it's different. It's better. And then if you eat this meat with a good, typical Malbec red wine, it's the best. So remaining on the food topic, I also had the opportunity to learn how to cook the real empanadas with inside eggs, olives and meat. Cooking in the oven are delicious. Okay, now let's change topic and let's talk about football. I think that Argentines are calcium sick. For them, it is life, it's important things. They are so proud of Maradona, Messi. When the national team plays, La Selección, they are all crazy. But specifically, I want to talk to you about the rival Boca use. Practically 80% of Argentina cheers or River or Boca, more or less equal, maybe a little bit more Boca. So both teams, Boca and River, are from Buenos Aires. And when there is the Super Clásico, so the match between them, is a total mess. I was there when there was this match in Championship and River won 3-1. That's what happened at the end of the game. So can you imagine at the end of a simple championship game, which meant nothing, also because that year the Boca won the championship. So, and believe me, I'm from Turin, when Juventus win the championship, people makes less noise. So I want to finish this first part greeting all my friends from Neuquén with whom I spent a really beautiful night. Ciao Ludo, espero espero que nos vamos a ver muy pronto, and tell you about two funny things. The first one. At the beginning I didn't know anyone, so on Friday night I went alone to the most famous disco in the city, around midnight. I arrived there and there was nobody. I was surprised, so I asked to the bouncer and he said that it was too early, that the people start to arrive around 3. So I spent 3 hours talking to him. So the week after, what I did after dinner, I went to sleep, I put alarm at 3 a.m. and then I wake and I went to the disco. It's crazy, but believe me guys, they start to go to the disco at 3 a.m, the disco are full around 4 a.m, and they dance until 8, 9 a.m. Before it, they have previa. They meet in someone's house and drinking there all together and playing and something like this. So the second particular thing is the 19% of Argentinians like cocktail, drink Fernet with Coca. I was surprised about this cocktail and I say that also if Fernet is an Italian drink, in Italy nobody drinks this stuff. And it was honestly the first time of my life that I hear about this cocktail. And they were so sad about it, because they were thinking that Italian drinks this cocktail, but no. Well guys, this video is over. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you have question, curiosity or advice, just leave a comment. See you soon guys, bye. C'è una buona luce. Tutto bello, perfetto. Minchia, che capelli che ho.